we almost a year and a half through the pandemic and year and a half through learning how to manage ourselves on Zoom. So, and neither is this a school or a graduate class. So I expect you all to manage that part of the etiquette reasonably well. Okay. So I don't see still a lot of you not muting yourself. Shalini, Mridula, Rupesh, Shushma. Yeah, Shushma and then Mridula, mute yourself. Even better, mute your camera or thing. And then, of course, as we go along forward, you will diligently unmute yourself and get along. Good. Shushma, I think it'll take you a while, but eventually you will find the mute button, I guess, right? Okay, good. So I've also started recording, which means that our session stands. Yeah, my name is Ramesh. I'll get myself a little more better introduced in the course of our conversation today, and in the fact that we have quite a long time that we will be. Why is it so irritating? Can you mute yourself, please? Okay, good. I guess I'll have to live with this for a while. Good. So I take marketing management for you, one of the finer subjects that you will be, one out of the 4 subjects that you will be learning in term 1. And to go through this process of teaching you, obviously there is a certain amount of learning that I have brought into this conversation, a bit of an experience that I've brought into the conversation. And of course, I have been very, very liberal in sourcing a lot of material, which is from all different kind of sources. So I need to make one declaration in the very beginning. I would like to declare that the content, the origin, the source, and the rights of those materials lie with them, and I'm only using it for the purpose of teaching, educating, and have a nice conversation, all of us. Okay. Yeah, I think I should have added number 1 before all this, but let me do that right away. Please maintain, what's the word? Zoom etiquette, right? For the better of your class. Okay, I'll live with it. It's up to you guys. How will you live? No problem. It'll happen. And I'm sure nobody's perfect. So before we get into the subject, I like to introduce myself to some of you who may have possibly Google searched something. I will. I'm not going to bother about the unmuted ones. It's up to you guys to take care of that. Okay. Yeah. So I am a co-founder of a consulting firm in the telecom industry, more precisely in the satellite and satellite services industry. I have over 35 years, depends upon what you call as experience. So I have a, what do you call, I have a daytime job which keeps me busy, and over the weekends I am your professor. I have been teaching for a while now. I've been teaching for over 7-8 years now, and been thoroughly enjoying. I have been associated, thanks to my thanks to the fact that the dean and the captain has been enjoying my trust my teaching experience. I have been associated with DSU, the Executive MBA program, from its very inception. So going forward, as we talk to each other, we will have nicer conversations, and then I'll tell you more about myself and in the course of the thing. Okay, these are the ways that you can reach me. Needless to say that we already have a WhatsApp group. And those of you who are on Twitter, I more than welcome you to follow me on Twitter. I make some noises on Twitter, which may be of interest to you. About the students, why I hear about you, I think we did run an exercise. And so at the right time, I'll bring up those presentation. I have lots and lots of learning from the presentation, something that I think is very interesting to have that kind of a conversation. Let's see how it goes. Good. Then a typical class session is going to be drawing content from one of the things that Dayanand Sagar University per se, and more specifically your MBA program or your executive MBA program, derives its resources from some of the key contents that you can find anywhere. So we pride in the fact that case studies are possibly the best of the best. We dip into Harvard Business School. We have professors who come out from the Ivy League, and we also draw in content from current affairs, which are of interest to all of us. And of course, in specific, we also have books of marketing management by Philip Kotler that you will read. More of it later. There was one particular point that I wanted to make, which was that, yeah, I like to draw your attention to point number 9, which is that I'm here to teach, you're here to learn. So let's be very clear. And attendance is mandatory. Unlike school, unlike in college, you have decided to join the course on your own free will. Possibly you paid the money. So make the best of it. Make a good capital investment. Okay. There are going to be assignments. You already must be feeling the heat. All of us professors have already uploaded assignment number 1. And no sooner have you even looked at it, assignment number 2 would be uploaded. So it's going to be hectic, good, active weekend, which will give you good dividends in your life. Okay. So you're expected to answer when your name is mentioned. Yeah, I really want to make this a habit. I added this in this morning. While there are about 100 of you, I will make it a point that I wake you up from slumber, or I make sure that you unmute yourself and answer some as we go forward. There are no prescribed books. There are no fixed syllabus too, but that's too vague a statement. Sometime in the next 2 hours, I'll give you an outline of what is going to be taught and what is it that we expect you to answer. Okay. So yes, of course, this is a management course. We intend to and hope to create better managers. And I believe over the last couple of years, we've been reasonably successful in that direction. So this is what we do. We try to teach you. We are here to educate. We're really not here to conduct an exam. We are here to make a better individual, enrich you, empower you, and all that. Okay. We're going to do a lot of case studies. Case studies are very, very crucial for especially management courses. And case studies are, what is a case study? Case study is a work through what happened in a company, what happened to a company, what happened to a sector, possibly and most likely in 9 out of 10 cases, it's an historic event. We judge by what happened in that event. The turnout could be a positive or a negative, but still it's a learning for us. And then we try to incorporate it in the future businesses. Okay. So you are also encouraged, because I did understand that it's 7.5 years is the average work experience, which means that you guys have already lots of knowledge, ideas, thoughts, experiences. So let's try sharing them in our conversation, right? Okay. Then what do we have? I hope you get the message here. Anybody, could you unmute or even type in what's the message I'm trying to convey here? What's that?
You can take the horse to the water, but you can't make the horse drink it.
Yes. So I guess all of you know who the horse is at this stage, right? So let's get it. So all the horses get up and let's get ready for the battle. Okay. Here is what I did this morning. And I sat down and say, how do I wake you up? How do I welcome you? How do I make sure that you guys understand? Give me a minute. I'm just also trying to settle down as much as you are also settling down. So I'm trying to say, how do I get you guys to believe that June 21 is probably the finest month that you've ever had so far? What I mean by that, the decision to join an MBA course is probably the best thing that you had. And why do I say that? You know what's been happening over the 12, 14, 16 months. These are strange times. I wouldn't get into the word COVID or Corona. Let's not try talking about it. I mean, or let's try not talking about it. But what's happened over the last so many so many months, 16, 18 months? Companies of long standing have fallen down. That's it. Companies which were over 100 years no longer exist. I will, I'm sure. Can you all see the slide well? I am a little more comfortable in this mode, but if you can't see it, I do not mind going into a presentation mode. Any one of you, are you fine?
We can see the slide.
We can see the slide,
okay.
sir.
Because
Yeah,
I'm a little comfortable on this mode. Yeah. So one of those companies that I'm talking about, there are hundreds of such companies, of course, who have wound up. But one of those companies I'm talking about is called Brook Brothers. Brook Brothers has been there since 1818. And uniquely, Brook Brothers has always been the the suit makers for celebrities, Wall Street executives, and the US president. Virtually every US president from 1880, whenever that they came into effect, have always worn the suit made by Brook Brothers, with the exception of Biden, who obviously by that time the pandemic hit Brook Brothers. They were out of business. They had to close down. He had to go somewhere else. So one learning that I want you to remember is companies of long standing are crumpling down. If that's what the story is, yesterday's newborn babies are buying industry leaders. Unheard of. We always grew up in a different thought process. But look at this. Farm Easy. I mean, I somehow don't really like the Farm Easy ad. I find it a kind of little not so. I don't like that ad. But who cares? Farm Easy has bought in MetLife, which has been there for donkey's years. And recently, Farm Easy took over a 26-year-old company called Thyrocare. So there you go. A 6-year-old Farm Easy is virtually buying into companies left, right, and center. And if you're not convinced by it, Baiju buys into Akash. So there you go. Akash has been there, I'm told, for 44 years. And I don't think Baiju has been there for more than 4 or 5 years, whatever the time is. So all that is happening as we speak. Long-standing assumptions have let us down. The very foundation of our thoughts has let us down. We always said social media cannot have a business mode. That's totally wrong. Many of the companies today do business on WhatsApp. Many of the companies today, somebody adding something? Okay. Many of the companies today, I mean, you go to they point to an information on LinkedIn or to a link in Facebook. So everything is changing now. Everything is changing. They said that not everything can go digital. There are limitations to what can go digital. Maruti just very recently announced that the entire sales process, 24 out of the 26 sales processes are now digitized. And then for years and years, the government did not allow foreign direct. What is foreign direct investment? We'll learn about it later, but for the moment, we'll say that did not allow foreigners to run multi-brand retail in India, but who could stop e-commerce, right? Another digital platform. When was the last time you bought a CD? When was the last time you went and bought a movie ticket? When did you use a pay phone? And of course, we've not even gone to and stayed in a hotel for a year. But when was that last time that you actually made a call from a hotel, which the landline charges are that much more expensive? When did you buy an encyclopedia? When we grew up, the gift that was given to us when we turned to teens was an encyclopedia, and which meant that you were supposed to know everything about everything by reading the encyclopedia. But who cares today? And when was the last time that you actually bought yourself a ticket through a travel agent, physically walked into? There are no physical tickets anyway. If you're not convinced, the very foundations have been shaken. We all grew up saying that stick to your core skills, stick to your core skills. Are you really sure you want to do that? The core skills that you grew up with are outdated now. So what do you do with your core skills when the companies that needed your core skills no longer exist? AI is throwing out hundreds and hundreds of job descriptions. On this slide, the left is connected to the right, but not directly. It's for you to connect them. So hold on to your market. What was that? Hold on to your market, hold on to your customers. There's somebody who's going to come from somewhere and then totally disrupt. Disrupt is not the word. If you are not convinced that the market is getting disrupted, I'll tell you the marketing is getting destructed. You see what is happening to everything. Customer loyalty. What is customer loyalty? Do you think customers are loyal to you? No customer is loyal to anybody. If the customer doesn't get what he wants, he wouldn't care a damn that you did business with him for 10 years. He will just walk out. For a few dollars more is the name of a movie. But what I'm saying is for a few dollars less, the customer can throw in a long-standing relationship. And you know that. Okay. Then what I'm saying is big fish eat small fish. You can picturize yourself. Big fish eating small fish, the smaller eating the smaller, and on and that. Sorry, gentlemen and ladies, or grammatically, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's turned around. The small fish are now eating the big fish. Why? It's because the big fish is not agile, because the big fish is not growing. If you are not growing, you are dying. As much as that. Downsizing always downsizing meant that the most loyal, the most oldest employee stayed. It was last in, first out. That's the biggest joke today. Just because you are one of the top first employees on the payroll or on the attendance register, whatever you want to call it, we don't really care. Are you young? Are you agile? Are you adaptive? Are you upskilled? Then you continue to work with us. Otherwise, thank you. We don't even offer you a golden handshake. We just handshake and get out. And today, nobody wants to handshake. It's social distancing. We just tell you bye-bye. That's what is happening right now in front of you. And finally, we all grew up saying that if it's free, it's promotion. Sorry, if it's free, you are the product, right? I am sure you have heard of all of these conversations. So why am I saying all this? And why am I shaking you up? It's because you need it. It's because if you're not growing, you are dying. If you're not ahead of the curve, well, it's up to you how you complete that sentence. So you have that way done a great decision by trying to get yourself upskilled. And I want to live out this kind of a statement for you to read this out. Okay. Traditionally, life was 2 parts or 3 parts. I was actually trying to pull out as a supplement to this slide. I went and typed on the 4 stages of life as per Hinduism. Then it said Bala, the education stage, the marriage, Grihastha Ashrama, and all that stuff. But somehow that didn't really come out well. So I thought I'll just post what is here. The new way of learning, the new way today is learning, that's schooling, working. Soon you realize that your skill sets are not enough. You learn more. In the process, you get married. And marriage is the greatest teacher, right? You keep learning all the time. I'm sure some of you agree with me on that. It's learning infinity once you're married. Okay. Then the new way, learn again, because your midlife crisis, 10 years, 7.5 years average work experience of this thing, you obviously have seen a lot of things happen. Let me quickly upskill myself. So if otherwise I'm in trouble. But don't even assume that retired people have a better life. The retired people have the worst of their lives. They grew up in an atmosphere which is so very, very different from today. They don't know how to use touch phones. They don't know how to use how to make a payment using a UPI. They don't even understand what's online banking and payment. They could have their children in another part of the world. That could be your parents that I'm referring to. And mind you, you would soon be there. And they have to learn how to use Zoom. And honestly, I got into this room around 1:10. I said I had enough of 20 minutes to log in. And Zoom said that you need an upgrade. And it refused to even log me in. And an upgrade went for about 12 or 13 minutes. And there were very, very, very tense moments for me. I really didn't want to start my class a few minutes late. So who's going to do all this? How's technology going to evolve? So you have to learn Zoom, you have to learn WhatsApp as an old person. So the only way for you is, as Yuval Noah Harari states, is that you have to learn. So welcome to the class. And one of the guys that I want you to read, follow, and digest anything that is told is follow Yuval Noah Harari. He's one of the finest contemporary writers who has a very open thought. And he has written a couple of books. He has written a book called 21 Tips to the 21st Century. Is there anybody who's read that book? I think time for me to open the chat box. Yeah, correct, Gopika. But here, you must read the last one of them. So that's a wonderful book. So there you are. I thought I'll begin my class with some of these comments, and then we see what's coming next. Yeah, Homo sapiens. And if I've scared you, here is a bit of good news. You take camels and put them in the Arctic, they die. You take the penguins and put them in the desert, they die. You take a man, put them in either one of those places, he'll live comfortably. So you are adaptive. You can adapt to any conditions. That's one part of the story. The second part of the story is that newborn giraffes or newborn turtles or whatever that is, the moment they are born, they start swimming, they start walking, they do all kinds of things, is because they are 100% hardwired. The human body or the human being is the least hardwired creature, or whatever you want to call it. It's only hardwired to cry, suck, or do some very basic things. Everything else is adaptable. Everything else is adaptable. How many of you have seen movies? How many of you seen movies of, what's the guy's name? I guess that guy is famous for those movies. Manmohan Desai. The very first scene of Manmohan Desai movie is a mother crying. She delivers two babies and then she dies. One baby is taken away by a saint. The other baby is taken away by a sinner. And that's it. So you don't really have to be tuned when you're born. It's the atmosphere which tunes you up. So why am I saying all this? Is you're never too old to learn. Your brain is programmable. And unfortunately, today you have no choice. You have to learn, and unlearn. Just the other day, I was so tempted, and I don't know how many of you agree with me, is that the other day, one of my customers said that let's have a call, and I'll send you what's called the Microsoft Teams invite. Now, honestly, I'm very comfortable with Zoom. I'm comfortable with Google Meet, WebEx. We've lived through WebEx and even the other one, whatever that is. Okay, GoToMeeting. But for some reason, I'm not comfortable with Microsoft Teams, and I hope I'm not the only one here. But I was so tempted. I was so tempted to say that, can we have other than Microsoft Teams? But then I said, that'll make me very old. So I rather well get into the Teams meeting. So why am I saying is all of us are learning in some stage or the other. Okay, almost 20 minutes down. Let me get a basic feedback from you all to learn how are we going. Are you following me well? Am I running too fast? Am I
Absolutely
audible?
great, sir.
I'm
No,
doing
sir.
This is perfectly
Yeah.
fine.
It's perfectly
Perfectly
great.
fine, sir.
Right? Good.
Fine, sir.
Good.
Very motivating.
Right,
Thank you.
right. Okay, so where are we? Okay, good. So yeah, group assignments. You guys have been doing group assignments already, and yeah, we'll get to I'll get to a particular place where I actually will pull out all your pre-class assignments, group assignment. Okay, now you're following me very well, very nice. Now, what's this got to do with you guys? How many of you have visited the LMS? In case you have, it doesn't matter. You haven't visited, but what has this got to do with you?
This is part of the first gradable assignment that we need to do. We need to select one of the companies who are winners of the National Startup Award, and sort of look at their vision, mission, and do a SWOT analysis and suggest recommendations for giving them a better head start.
Perfect. So this is what you're going to do. Team up with your friends, select carefully, select intelligently which company do you want to handhold, and this will be your presentation, right? So good, Gopika, is that correct? It was you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Nice of you to have looked at it. That makes my life slightly easier, right? Okay. Then what's coming next? Okay, I'm going to see, do I write this? Skip, or skip to it. Let's say, I'm going to keep this very simple. This is what I want you to be at the end of 18 months. I'm not saying that you are a larva at the moment, but then I really want you guys to be butterflies at the end of these 18 months of exercise. Okay, and it's very much possible, and it's very much possible that you can grow out and be a better individual. But if you do not end up being one, it would rather be a shame, because you spent not only a lot of time, but now that you are grown up, have families, have friends, and yearn and aspire for a weekend for yourself and sacrificing that to attend a class, you better make the best of it, right? You're lucky to have a second life by sitting in the classroom and do the best. Okay, that's all. Nothing much than with this slide. Again, driving home a repeated factor. I'm not going to get into this at this stage. The only thing I wanted to say was, if you can see this, well, just one singular point that I want to make is that man is, in terms of efficiency and in terms of power consumption, body weight versus cost of transportation or calories consumed, man is somewhere stuck here. Man is somewhere stuck here. Compared to this animal, whatever this bird, what is it called? The Andrian, which can fly about 100 kilometers without even flapping its wings. So Steve Jobs actually ended up reading an article which said that the moment man sits on a bicycle, his efficiency is probably the best. His efficiency is, everything else here is man-made. So he's even better than a horse. So what am I saying is that the tools that you will learn today, he was almost tempted to call the computer cycle, and I'm not exaggerating, it pulls out from where he is, because a cycle makes the efficiency factor very, very good for a man. So so what I'm trying to tell you guys is that whatever that you learn today, don't stick to the theory part of it. Try to implement them. And that's the beauty of executive MBA program, is that you can even probably implement them tomorrow morning when you are in the office. The thought processes, the way you analyze, the way you look at your people in a course from OT, or the way the relook at finance. And again, a piece of advice is I go back to a slide which I said was, stick to your core skills. Please don't stick to your core skills in the MBA program. If you are an HR student, or if you're an HR in your company, for heaven's sake, concentrate more on subjects which are other than HR. It's because that is something that you will never get it. If you're somebody who is a marketing guy, pay attention to finance, because only when you have a holistic learning that you can ever aspire to go and become a manager, a CEO, or somebody else. You must have the ability to know all skill sets. And never know, HR could also get automated and you might be out. Okay, so make sure that you have you keep yourself well equipped in terms of skill sets. Okay, then do I go back to this? Okay, I'll see what happens, because sometimes when I go back to this, I miss it out. Okay, further, before we get into the subject of marketing, I want you to look at history. For all of us, we grew up with the thought processing, read history so that you don't repeat it, or history is very important. But the history that I'm going to take you along is not the history that we read. Because, okay, diverting from the topic, history is always written by the winners. Okay, history is always written by the the king who conquered or killed the other guy. History, there was in Netflix, there used to be at one time a very popular series which was called alternate history. Alternate history. How many of you have seen the initial versions of Netflix, wherein it begins with the fundamental thought that the Second World War is won by, there's somebody clicking on the, I'll just go back to the other mode. Please give me, I'm not comfortable with this mode. Okay, right. What does that alt history say? That the end of the Second World War, it is America which is defeated, Japan and Germany are the winners. The West Coast is run by the Japanese, the East Coast is actually run by the Germans, and that's all happens. So that's history as it's written in a different time. That's also political history. Most of history that we read is political history. But I'm going to take you through a journey which will eventually give you a thought of what business looked like, what drove business, and where are we today, and how do we go forward. Okay, hopefully it will be an interesting conversation. If you look at it from here, 5,000 years back, it's just a number. It could be 5,001 years back. Don't hold me back. Okay, so 5,000 years back, what is it that we did? Okay, I guess the farthest that you moved was 10 kilometers radius. You never moved beyond 10 kilometers radius because you couldn't, or it was all jungle anyway, and you went to unknown territories. So 5,000 years back, the backyard was your world, right? Today, the world is in your pocket, as they say, but the backyard was your world. You just played out there. Trade was, of course, very, very restrictive. I gave you a piece of deer meat and you would give me a few apples instead. So that's probably what we did. And everything else depended on the role of the nature. That was when we were told that if you bend by exactly 43 degrees and stretch your hands in a particular direction, the gods are going to be pleased and you're going to be showered with rain. So who was in control? Obviously, man was not in control. And we felt that the nature was all encompassing and controlling all of us. We were what were called the hunters and the gatherers. And then, of course, we did become agriculturists. Even then, it was not very different. We still depended on God. So who needed to become pampered? We didn't want the kings to be pampered because there were not even any kings at that stage. We wanted the gods and the goddesses and the rain lord and the lord of the sun and the lord of the wind, or call him by whatever name, they had to be pampered. That's what was happening. Nothing was in our control. Moving on, I want to give you another thought process before we go on, is because one parameter changed everything. The one parameter that changed everything is that if you look at it, how many of you have actually read Chandamama? It's me too much of an ask. You guys are too very young to even know what it stood for. Or let's not go to Chandamama. Let's go to Amar Chitra Katha, right? Or we have read that. What was a typical story? What was the typical story? The typical story was your internet connection is unstable. Okay, moral stories. Yeah, Mrudula, one moral story that you grew up with was that the old father dying gave each of the four brothers a stick and said, break it, right? And
Yes.
then, yeah. And
If you
then
are together,
said,
if you are together, you cannot break.
you cannot. Unity is in strength. That was, and diversity is our strength, is what the government says.
And
Okay.
never lie.
Yes, yes, yes. But there was other stories too. Like, for example, the 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 stingy, wealthy pawnbroker, or the stingy money lender. What would he do with all the money? What would he do with all the money? He would hide it in his cupboard, or he will dig and hide it below a tamarind tree or something like that. And or every day morning he would get up and count whether they are still continue to be 99 or 101. That's what he would do. Why would he do that? Why was everybody hoarding money? Why was not nobody would give away the money? You hide the money. You saved money for the primary reason that I'm sure you have seen so many of those kind of stories which were of that kind, is because in the old days there was a concept of what is called I win, you lose. There is a zero-sum game. It is impossible that you and I could win. It's a win-win all situation is a new terminology. A win-win all situation did not arise even 100 years back. 100 years back or 200 years back, there was nothing called win-win. It's either I win, you, and you lose. I invade your kingdom, I kill you, your people go to poverty, and I steal all the riches and I go away. The only way for me to get is to tax you more. Lagan. Yeah, what was that? Dugna, or whatever that word is. Okay, unless you knew to play cricket 300 years back, but it doesn't happen, right? So the only if your coffers are empty, tax the farmer, tax the merchant, tax the goldsmith. Why? Is because everybody believed that the size of the pie was fixed. This is all was there. So if I had to snatch, I had to snatch so that I could live. And when I snatched, you would give it away. So that was the concept that we lived with. That is why people started conquering kingdoms. And what did they do? They conquered the kingdoms and looted. Then came a great idea, an idea that changed the world. The idea was credit. Now, credit said that don't worry, tomorrow is not going to be as bad as tomorrow. Tomorrow will be better than today. Tomorrow will be better than today. So I am willing to invest in something which will give me a better tomorrow. I was actually reading or listening to a conversation about 10, 12 years back in 10 years back, something like that, in CNN, where they were interviewing a young 24, 25-year-old girl and asked her, how's your life? I'm talking about just before the Beijing Olympics. And she's saying, every day of my life has been better than the previous day. That's China, growing economies. So they always knew that tomorrow is going to be better than today. So once that feeling comes in that the tomorrow is better than today, they are not going to tax you. On the contrary, the king will give the farmer more money to invest in better farming techniques, to invest in better pesticides, so that he produces more. The idea was, let's increase the size of the cake, pie, or even better still bake another pie, whatever that is. Okay, so they grew. The resources were limited, was the previous generation thought. The present generation thought is resources can be created, and you're knowing it. From nowhere do ideas come. Did you ever imagine that a guy called Dunzo would even survive? I laughed at it the very first time that somebody told me that there's going to be a guy who's going to take a document for you and drop it somewhere else. We grew up in companies wherein the fifth employee had to be office boy. So every department, the first time I was told, Ramesh, break away, start a new department. Then I said, okay, I'm going to take Murugesh, who was the office guy, because he was reliable. Now, do you think my company is going to say, break off and start up a new division? I said, I want an office boy. He said, go to hell. Okay, so that is what some thought processes didn't even exist. Resources can be created, new things can come out. So lend him more so that he gets you more taxes. He gets you produces more. Don't tax him more. Let him earn more and he will obviously send you up. What did this result in? This resulted in entrepreneurship. This resulted in enterprise. This resulted in people taking a risk. The king and the businessman, the king and the farmer, both were willing to risk, saying that let's invest, let's probably come up with a better one. So this was that one fixed moment that happened in history. And the moment this concept came, the world changed. The moment this concept came, world changed. From 5,000 years back, or so whatever that is, I'm now moving into 500 years back. They said, let's explore, let's go out, let's see what is happening around. So that was when they said, let us travel to other parts of the world. Europe started moving out. People started venturing on ships. That was when Columbus did that. Columbus in 1942, probably 500 years back, he went back. He didn't find an investor. He had to go because he had a concept. He had a concept that you can go east you can reach east by going west because the earth is round. But who was willing to fund him? He needed funding, right? I mean, you do a journey of 100 days, doesn't happen on a hungry stomach. So he finally got the lady from Italy or somebody, the Queen of Italy or something like that, who finally funded him. So what did that result in? Is that exploration happened. Man began to travel. Trade became subjective. Man was going out of the way to trade. The role of nature reduced. We knew how to conquer harsh, windy conditions. Exploration happened. And then what happened? Kingdoms started conquering other sections of the world. This is probably the first Series A funding must have been Columbus and Vasco da Gama who did that. So what they actually also did was some of these, you must actually continue to read Yuval Noah Harari, who actually describes this in very, very nice format. The kingdoms would actually diversify their portfolio. Like, let me pick out a name from the participant list here. Something very, okay, Girish or Gopinath, he has all kind of, I'm sure you all have mutual fund, balanced fund, and what are the other kinds of. So even the government would say, let's do some exploration to Indonesia. Let's do somebody sending ships to India. Let's see what's there in India. So lots and lots of things were happening in that part of the world. But this is Adam Smith. Adam Smith is somebody that you must get up in the morning and say hello to from tomorrow onwards. As Adam Smith is one of the primary economists that set the whole process of bringing technology, bringing science to management. So he said that greed is good. Greed is good because if you are greedy, you will become rich. Today, when you become rich, you will not invest in lockers. You will not go to the Swiss bank. You will not buy gold. Of course, apart from pleasing your wife you will invest. And once you make money, you will actually employ people. So he said that greed is a very good concept. I hope you guys are following me on this. So from 500 years, we moved down to 250 years. What happened? There was the Industrial Revolution that took place. The Industrial Revolution took place in the middle of Europe. And now, what were they doing? They were building bigger ships. They were building more complex ships. They were building huge products. They came up with huge factories. And they started to having what is called the rich and poor divide. There were rich nations and there were poor nations. What did they do? They colonized. Name a country that was colonized, which first three letters are I-N-D.
India.
India.
Yeah, it's not just India, it's Indonesia. All of them were colonized. Everything was colonized. And what does colonization mean? Is that you will not manufacture. People are talking about GDP in India has fallen down to 2%, 3% since the pandemic. But remember, for 250 years or whatever period of time that the British ruled India, Indian GDP was zero. So they said, you will not produce anything. We will produce anything. Why are we producing anything? Because we have got huge machines to produce. So you will buy what I sell. The seller is the king. The seller is the king. You don't have a choice. Lena hi padega. Or you cannot even make handloom in India, because otherwise, what did they do? They chopped the fingers of those handloom weavers in Bengal. Why? Because how will the cloth which is made in Manchester ever sell? So the ruler became the all-powerful. The seller became the king. The buyer had no choice. These were the glorious years of production where they were just been producing left, right, and center. So this was a period of time when India was in a very, very bad shape. I'm sure you guys will understand that. 75 years back, we're just moving away from 500. What's the time? Yeah, whatever. And then back to some end of colonization. We got liberated. India became liberated or became independent. It was the end of colonization. The developing countries started moving. The developing countries also started manufacturing. The rich and the poor divide diminished. The buyer had choice. Today, 75 years back, or probably not even 75 years back, 30 years back, 40 years back, 50 years back, I could choose between buying a Japanese car or an American car or a car made in UK. There was a competition arising. The seller was no longer in control. The competition had walked in. Buyer had choice. Our dependency on nature. Look, 5,000 years back, a bad monsoon could kill you. The famines of Bengal, the bad monsoon. I remember we grew up saying that the monsoon hits Kerala on the first week of June. And it will rain in Bangalore on 7th of June. So we knew that. That is how we grew up with. But dependency on rain no longer matters unless and until if you are in Bangalore, one rain and your power cut happens. That's a different story for us to talk about, right? While all the countries were growing, Asian power was growing, Singapore was growing, Japan was growing, South Korea was growing, Indonesia was probably growing, Thailand was growing, Malaysia was growing. What was happening in India? In India, there was what was called License Raj. What did License Raj mean? License Raj meant, and I'll take you back in the next 10 minutes as to why am I giving you the history and why is that all that leading into marketing. Okay, License Raj meant that if you were, the government would decide who would manufacture what, and not only that, that company, how much will he manufacture? If he manufactured scooters, they would say scooters, and each company will only manufacture 500 scooters. How many scooters are required? What is the demand for scooters? 10,000. How much will they manufacture? 500. So now what will happen? Do you have the choice of color? Do you have the choice of seating? Do you have the choice of LED versus whatever thing? You will buy what's given to them. And so what kind of scooters came out? The scooters that came out, were called the Bajaj scooters. How did the scooters start? How do you start a Bajaj scooter?
By tilting it.
Why?
Kick,
Yeah, of course.
because that's the only option given.
No, why do you have to tilt the scooter?
So ignition was not there at that time.
So you can have the gas, the petrol or the diesel come on the other
No,
side.
you had to tilt the scooter because the carburetor had a problem. It was a technical problem. Nobody wanted to solve the technical problem because you will buy it anyway, right? Where will you go? Kahan jaoge? What is the option available to you? So look at what happened to India. And I want you to pay attention. Mute yourself, please. It is irritating. Now you tell me, what do I do if he doesn't? Okay. I don't even know who is that. Okay, see, I lose the momentum, and I can only blame you for that. Okay, but remember, while India was in license Raj, China was, you remember, China was a communist country. China was a communist country. China opened up its economy. Chinese economy was even worse than Indian economy to a certain extent. And it started opening up. Chinese understood the game much better. They opened up in the 1980s. Who is this, please? How do we know who's that?
More people have to mute apart from you in the group.
You know what happens?
No, there are a couple of
then
people
what
who are
happens? The
not
problem
unmuted.
is that you cannot unmute. Then when I ask you a question, you can't even answer. So it has to be, somehow it has to be what is called etiquettes. If you can follow it in your office call, why can't you follow it here? Okay. Right. Anyway, I'm sure you all will eventually my ears will get adjusted, or you guys will learn. Okay, no problem. So where was I? China caught up 20 years back, whereas India was stuck. India was stuck saying that I'll only give license to so many people. That was the license Raj which killed it. Finally, I want to bring up one particular year that changed the world. The year that changed the world was 1989. 1989 was one year where so many things changed. The China Tiananmen Square protest happened. Where there was an attempt to bring democracy to China. China realized that unless and until we make our citizens rich, they'll only grumble about freedom. In Singapore has no freedom. I mean, Singapore is only a single party rule. But what's more important, a wonderful living or just democracy? That's the same question that the dictatorial head of South Korea asked his people. The biggest problem that South Korea faced was a painful neighbor called North Korea. North Korea would constantly keep troubling them all the time. A painful neighbor will not allow us to live in peace. So the dictator came and said, listen, guys, I'll handle North Korea. Give me the power. And what do you want? You want to have a good night's sleep, or do you want democracy? So they said, we want a good night's sleep. So that is how Korea grew. China at that time realized that we have to we have to open up our economy. Partial elections in USSR, almost the virtual fall of Berlin Wall. The fall of Berlin Wall meant the fall of communism. And most importantly, the first GPS satellites were launched. The first Intel 486 processor was launched. Look at what's happening. The first internet connection was done in November. The first www terminology was used in 1989. And in 1989, we were nowhere aware of anything like this. We were in our own world of license Raj and fighting about who should do business and things like that. So inward focused we were not even happening what's there. The equivalent to 1989 was in 1991 in India, where the Manmohan Singh government came and liberalized the economy. They said, we will privatize. We will allow foreign companies to set up in India. We will allow, that is when we had lots and lots of new companies come in. And when through privatization, we even had companies like Infosys and all that come up. Okay. Finally, the key events in India were 1983 when Infosys IPO came up, and 2013 is called a very key moment in India when Dhoni became the captain. Of course, Kapil Dev was a captain sometime previously, 1983 or something. But when Dhoni became the captain, there was, and I'm sure so many of you are going to appreciate the next sentence that I'm going to say. The moment Dhoni became the captain, it dawned upon the people that you do not have to be a city boy to play for the Indian cricket team. Earlier, every 99% of the Indian cricket team involved people from Delhi, Bangalore, Bombay, and somewhere else. That's it. But now, Dhoni showed that you could be in Tier 2 city, you can be in Tier 3 city and still play for India. That changed the concept of what people thought. They thought that being in a city means that being in a village means that I'll never be able to aspire. Three of these characters, three of these film men, they also were from the villages and who did well. And most importantly, 2015, you had geo operations. What did geo do? There is what is called, popularly known as the Geo Dhoni effect. What does the Geo Dhoni effect means? That Dhoni told that you could be in the village and still aspire to lead India. Geo said that you could be in the village and we'll give you the same quality of internet that you would aspire in the city. That changed the world. That really opened up. Now, with all this conversation, how is trade? Who is in control? Who is driving the sales? Who needs to be pampered? Who is in control? The customer is in control. Who is driving the sale? It's the customer who will buy. It is not the seller who dictates. Is there choice available? There is plenty of choice available. Who needs to be pampered? Earlier, we had to pamper the supplier. We had to go and stand in front of Bajaj and wait for 6 months to get my scooter. I had to wait for 7 years to get a BSNL connection. Now, what is happening to BSNL? Who is pampering us? Now the customer has to be pampered. Who matters more? The customer matters more. So this is what we are going to do in the next 16 to 18 months, and more precisely in my remaining classes, saying that we will see how business is happening all along, right? I mean, did I go back on the slides? Yeah, that's what I thought as much. Okay. So this is where you are today. Today is one world. The whole world is in your backyard. It's democratization of access. You can access anything. You can access any content, any part of the world. There is oversupply now. The buyer is educated. The buyer is educated, remember. Nature and the power of the ruler has no place in this whole thing. Possibly 2021 is because of the pandemic, could be the new 1989 for all of you guys. Okay. So this said, the takeaway for you out of this is that the world of commerce is changing. Don't assume what's happening today. And just because you did well yesterday is no guarantee that you will do well tomorrow. Okay. Now, let me probably, before I go there, let me open up to about you and your team. You guys want a 10 minutes break, or we'll take a break at 3 o'clock. Is that fine?
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sure, sir.
Professor, I just have a question. Can I go ahead?
Good.
So it was very interesting because we went back through the history and we came to the current scenario. But as you said, it is evolving, and commerce industry is changing itself. So is it on a I mean, I just want to understand, is it on a negative or a positive aspect? Because as you said, everything has become mechanism, machinery wise, and human is completely going low. And again, as you said, in the pandemic situation also, technology is working more, as you said, everything was manual before, and now everything is online. So in that way, is it on a negative impact or a positive side of the change? How do we perceive it?
Okay, I'll give you the answer. Okay, anyway, the point that I was trying to quote and you are underlining is that many jobs are going. Many jobs are going away to digitization. Many jobs are going away to robotics. 10 years from now, I guess that was Vinay who spoke. Vinay, 10 years from now, even though you may be the president of your company, there'll be one particular assist that you may never need. And that assist is called the driver. You will not need a driver because we are hoping that 10 years from now, you will have driverless cars. So that means that certain skill sets become trivial, become irrelevant, and things like that. But the one skill set that will never go away is the human mind, the ability to manage people, the ability to look into what this guy can do better. What is it that I'm reading? Because managing of human being or managing of individual, the managing of the mind, managing of the thinking of an individual is never going to change. You may automate 100 things, but there's nothing like a social connect, right? There's nothing like two individuals knowing each other. So the entire process of an MBA program makes you get into the man management of things, the man management of finance, or the man management of people, or how do you create a sense of excitement? How do we create a sense of excitement in the product that you're saying? When all products are similar and there is just a bit of a difference between the two, what matters, and you will learn that in the next couple of hours, is what matters is that how do you perceive the pain point of your customer? Why is it that Zoom? And Zoom, I'll tell you what, the first year when I went to the classroom and then I was asked to do, they said, sir, you go to zoom.us. I grew up in a world which said that .com is the best extension that you can ever have. I lived saying that we want a .com extension. I really have a problem with Venkatesh. I don't know how to solve it. Okay. Can somebody message him, please, that he should be a little more nicer to other people? Okay. So I don't know. I lost my complete thought process on that. Okay. So anyway, so the point is that an MBA program in certain way is the vaccination that you're going to get.
Sir, you were talking about .com and .us Zoom.
Yeah. So the point that I was saying is Zoom.us was a very crazy thing. I didn't even know what was Zoom. And in the beginning of the pandemic, do you know what kind of rumors were coming in? Zoom is a Chinese company. Zoom is not storing data. Zoom is taking away all the data and bringing it out to China, sharing all your conversation. Who was creating it? It was the competition. It was the competition which realized that, oh my God, there's this wonderful opportunity. Myself, Mr. Microsoft, I had a Skype, but I never saw it. Mr. GoToMeeting, why didn't I even think of it? So the best way is let's unite to kill him. But how is it that Zoom has, despite being new, despite being the only product that it manufactures, whereas if you look at Cisco and Microsoft and Google, for them to buy Zoom or to smash it is just small change. But how did it survive? Is because we will learn in my next class, they are visionaries. They are able to perceive, and honest to heart, I believe, and I don't know whether you will agree with me or not, Zoom is much more easier to operate. Zoom is definitely seems to understand you better. So why is it? Why am I asking you to go and look at the startup and do that? It's because it is the AI may do only that much, but nothing can replace the fact that it's the human thinking, it's the human evolution that matters. So the point I'm trying to say is jobs may go, but managemental jobs will never go away. That's the point I was trying to say. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, to an extent, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so now let me see what you guys did with my presentation. I'm thoroughly happy with you, what you guys did. Let me see, there's my presentation. How many of you are engineers?
So myself, sir, Jonathan.
Okay, yeah, okay. How many of you believe that you should read a manual before you start doing something? Shankar, Sujan, how many of you actually read the manual?
We do read manuals, sir.
I do, sir. I believe in reading it before doing.
We do manuals.
Before you operate a modem, before you operate a router, before you operate whatever that is, you read the manual, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Not always, sir.
Not all the time. Arey, humko kaun sikhayega, right? Right? Who teaches Indians, right? We are born, we know how to do it. Okay, why am I asking you is, a lot of you don't seem to have read the manual. A lot of you have not read the manual when I gave it to you. Okay, good. So now I know a lot of you new share. Why is it not happening? Yeah, share. Yes. Okay, Vinay, I get your point, right? So group 2, I'm presenting them in the order in which you guys submitted. It doesn't really matter. You're not being penalized for submitting late. I'm just saying that I've just collated it in this form. So good, Anita and all of you, good. I don't have much to say. Well said. I'll read about you all, and I also see there's another Ramesh here. Hi, welcome, namesake. Tejaswini, and Vinay, you're still raising your hand. Do you have a point to say, or just that you're an engineer, right?
No, sir. No, sir. I have to close it. I'll just close it.
Okay. Good. No. Okay, listen. This is online classes. There's going to be confusion all the time, but let's honestly try to solve them as much as possible and be nicer to each other. Good. No more on Zoom etiquettes after that. Good. Dishwashers, I just want to, what am I trying to do here is to understand what are you thinking, and hopefully at the end of my class, you may want to visit or visit the dishwasher. It's a tongue twister, I realized. And maybe you may have a different set of answers coming at the end of 6 weeks or 6 classes. Okay, this is class 5. Very nice, hungry and foolish. The other one was called intenium. What would that mean, Anita? What is the full form of intenium? Or anybody else from the group too? Abrar Beg.
It's like a new beginning, like that.
Beginning. Oh, new beginning. Okay, okay, yeah. Okay, good. Nice. Very good. Good name. Good
a
name.
Latin word, mainly it is a Latin word,
Latin
which
word,
means a new
static.
beginning. Yeah, as we started, upskilling ourselves with the new course, we just thought us to get some spirit with this. So
that's very nice. I changed my role from QA to BA. That's very nice. Okay, good. Nice, nice to hear. Vikas and all of you, good. Mayur has to say all dreams come true, and if you have the courage, very nice. I'm sure your other classmates are really hungry and foolish guys. Include Nawaz and Sparrow. And is that your name truly, or you just call yourself one? Sanjeev.
I think there has been a mistake about the name. Yeah, it's Sabiha actually. Maybe
yeah,
it's some autocorrect. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So I'll correct it. I'll correct it as we speak. That's the role of the professor.
Thank you so much. It's Sabiha, Sabiha.
Yeah, I see that in your request. Okay.
Thank
so
you so
Sabiha,
much.
Good. You like Tesla. When do you think you will drive one in India? Which year?
Not sure. Now the celebrities are getting, I think it will come to us a little more later.
Sooner, right? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
At least the good thing about them is they are, reducing the price and little more affordable price they are having.
So you think I can think of a Tesla instead of buying an Alto? Do you think same pricing?
No, I don't think their business model is, I think I was reading about their business model. It's a little different. They started with high-end cars rather than, making, small, low-end cars. So they have a very different kind of a business
I was
model.
thinking of buying myself an Alto. I don't think it will fit in my budget, right? Not sure. No, good. What do you do? Yeah. Where do you work?
So I'm presently working in Accenture.
Okay.
So, as an execution lead, I'm working.
Oh, very nice. Good. Very nice to hear. What made you guys to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points on the Amex? Do you have an Amex card?
So I don't have. The thing is, we were just, we had to select best of 5, but it was a little difficult. Everybody had a viewpoint, so we just wanted to present all of them.
Okay. So you couldn't narrow down on last 5. So you guys said, let me see. I'll tell you. I can tell what happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You said, okay, let's democratize to help with what the professor's instructions are. Let's democratize. Each one will get a comment on each one. That's what you guys did, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay. Good. So you see, I'm trying to learn what you guys are thinking, and hopefully we'll make it up. We'll learn more of it. So these were the team airing prodigies, and they stuck to Reliance Geophone. Very nice. Mahendra, hi, how are you? Kritika, Chetan. Reason why I took up this course is I wanted to tune myself by taking up and push my career up in the next level. Very nice. Sudarshan, my favorite is whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. I guess you're right. Okay, next. This is 11. Again, democracy overrules the instructions. Correct? Group 11. Group 11.
Yes, sir.
Group 11, Hajir Ho. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So There's a Chetan there and a Chetan here. Chetan P. Hey, you switch sides. No, that's a Chetan R. Okay. So why did you guys not introduce yourselves? That was part of your instructions, right?
I think there is a misunderstanding between us while presenting a thing. So we introduced ourselves in a Zoom call, and we ended up in giving this one-liner brief about.
Okay. So Vinay, introduce yourself for the next 30 seconds.
Sure, sir. I'm Vinay. I'm from Tumkur. I'm currently working with Grey Matter Software Services in the capacity of Assistant Manager Finance. I did my graduation in Vijaya College in the year 2012. And in my current position, I take care of subsidiaries and statutory compliances.
Good, great, very nice. Anybody else on this? Yeah. Who wants to talk next? Fair enough. Yeah.
Millie.
Yeah, go ahead. Unless my internet is bad. Go ahead.
Okay, hello, Professor. My name is Millie, and I'm currently working with Akamai Technologies from past 2 years. Before this, I was working for IBM as a financial analyst. So yeah, just 15 seconds of introduction.
Very nice to know a person from Akamai. In early 99 and 2000, I rolled out the Akamai Edge servers.
Okay.
So
yeah.
My association with Akamai is pretty solid. Yeah.
That's still the base.
Oh, is it? Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, of course. That was when 99, 2000, 2000. Yeah, 2000.
Early Akamai days.
Correct, early Akamai days. Oh, that was a brilliant company at that time.
It's still brilliant. I can vouch for it.
Still is with people like Millie Day and all that. Obviously, great. Okay, good. I'll get all of you all to introduce yourself, but you didn't read the code of instructions. Very well read was by Team Rhetoric. And Nataraj, how are you? Make space for learning, stay relevant. Make space for learning. So what do you get rid of to create space? Stop watching TikTok for some time or something.
Nothing, sir. I think we can accommodate learning, as most of us don't do that.
Good. Juan, what do you do?
I'm a lead system engineer at Cerner Healthcare.
Okay. Great, nice. And Likita and possibly Divya? Or Anub?
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Anup here.
Yes.
So I chose this one because it is very relatable to me. I can say I wanted to develop myself and so that's why I chose this degree also, MBA. So, and Ratan Tata, I really follows him. So that's how I chose this thing. And I'm working for nobroker.com, the real estate, if you have heard, might have heard.
Okay, very good. I just want to bring up two things because you mentioned Ratan Tata. Have you been noticing something very unique about the Tata group? Is that the Tata group is one of the last groups to turn digital. Tata groups tried so many things. They have, what is the equivalent of Flipkart from Tata group? It even takes time for you to answer. That shows
Tata Click.
Yeah, that didn't come instantaneously, right? So they were very, very slow. Very slow. It only needed the new chairman or the new head, Mr. Chandrasekharan, right? From TCS. Now TCS is a completely digital outlet. And he comes in and he's changed the way Tata is now looking at. Tata is now gearing up. One thing I can tell you is, you may want to invest in Tata shares today. I mean, don't take my advice as your broker and don't hold me wrong, but they are thinking very differently now. After he's come up, the kind of investments that Tata was doing earlier was investing in steel, investing in automotive. Now he's saying, let's buy big basket. They bought a 1mg or something like that. They bought a They bought was the equivalent of Farm Easy. They bought something like that. They bought CureFit. How many of you know CureFit? They bought CureFit, and they also bought
Ajayo.
They
bought Ajayo.
Yeah, perfect. That's a brilliant one to buy, right? So what they did was now their thinking is changing. They've now made the founder of ClearFit, Mukesh Bansal, if I'm right. They have made him the head of Tata Digital. Why am I saying is that all of you guys from Accenture, all of you guys from IBM, you guys are the ones who are the new thinkers, the way you think in coding. And it said that a person who knows how to write a code, a person who can do an algorithm is better qualified to do a business plan than somebody else. So take your MBA very seriously. Take your MBA very seriously. That's your way to go. The second point that I want to make a comment is I keep looking at the clock there. So that's the reason why I keep looking to my left. Okay. The second comment that I want to make is I wanted you to read the dishwasher, and unless and until I have not read all of you, I'm not talking about Team 6, I'm talking about everybody who attempted dishwasher. The one point that I was hoping that you'll answer is that people said that we have a servant maid and hence we don't want a dishwasher. That one singular objection that the entire buying society said changed when there was the pandemic lockdown. There were no servants. That singular objection was overruled. And now, if you want a dishwasher, you will have to actually wait. People have to do. I didn't see that from each one of you, but that's nice to hear that you have very open minds, and we can, in the next 6 into 3, 18 minus 1, or whatever it is, 16 and a half hours, we hope to change your thinking on how to look at articles and read about.
So actually we discussed, I'm from group 6, so we discussed this on a Zoom meeting. So Shankar had gone ahead and told about this human emotional connect with the machine. And then later I went in, added on a point about, we need to go ahead and use the technology to its fullest. If at all we thought about, using products just because of emotional, we wouldn't have had washing machines in our houses. And it's totally up to the marketing skills. So how the
yeah, that's a good thought. That's a good thought. And I may have come out wrong in the last 2 minutes. That was not the point. The point is, how do you start looking at the articles? But I get your point, Jonathan Kumar. I definitely,
yes,
that's well said. Now let's look at what Team 12 has to say. Team 12 gave up, I think. What happened? Only 2 points to discuss. Team. What happened? Who can stand up and say, where is Shriti, Raghavendra, Mamata, Karthik? CB, what happened? Only 2 points. And what happened to the team? You see, what am I trying to see? I did it differently last time. What happened? CB?
Yeah, hi, sir. So actually, it was most of them were not available. So actually, they couldn't make it. And also, the last minute they had joined the group because of the the chart wasn't ready. So
no problem. I guess I am hoping that this last finally formed up team may do brilliant in the assignments to come. I wish you guys the very best.
We'll do it.
Okay, Team 4. Team 4, oh, well, lots and lots of data, forecast and all that. Lovely. Who's done all this? May I know that?
Hi, Professor. I'm Gary from Team 4. We are called the Quad. We did this together. We got the whole team together and bring this about.
Nice of you to say so. Very good.
We followed some of or most of your guidelines, and we added, including the points of human effect, the interactive ability of not having a maid, but having time to spend with your family. We've also included lack of marketing awareness etc. And we
Very
have a
good,
little
very
bit,
good.
we've done some
Yeah.
research, we've added some numbers, and we've also got
Very nice. I really see that you guys have taken it seriously. I truly appreciate the effort that's gone behind the thing. And I also like the way you said that this is not a singular contribution, it's the group that's coming in. What do you say, Rupa? Where do you work? Okay, Apurva? Anybody else? Vismaya? Fine, let's move to the next team. So I'm drawing conclusions as I speak to you guys. Group 7, net play. Okay, net play, what were you talking about? Dishwashers again, right? Okay, good. What do we have to say? Good team, lots of people here, stuck to 5. Dhanavarshini, what do you have to say? Is something you want to?
Yeah, so apparently we have had a lot of discussion about this particular article, and each one of us had a lot of opinions, So we were just trying to keep this PPT as short as possible, but also give all the information possible from our end. So that's the reason we tried to club all the points, and each one of us from our team has taken a lot of efforts into, actually
I can
going
see that.
through the
I can see
article
there's
and
been effort here. I can see that there's been contribution. I can see Ashok saying reason why I took this course is to gain better knowledge. Hi, Ashok. How are you?
Hi, sir.
Hi. What do you do? What do you do?
Actually, I work in Kirloskar.
Okay.
As a subject matter expert, working for US modules.
Perfect. Yeah. Anybody else? Venkatesh? I hope it's not Venkatesh Sagar, who's been unmuting himself. Venkatesh? Okay, good. So anybody else from group 7? We still have another 5 minutes. Well, let's run through this. And group 9, geeks. Yeah.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
First and foremost, all the team members, my team members, thanks. We all who had been, attending office, but we made sure that we, join on the call and we finished this on time. And that's how we came up with all
You know what, Dave, good that you said that. My initial plan was to actually disrupt the whole thing, but I was afraid that I'll create chaos and I could have the dean come and warn me. I wanted to do this virtually online and say, guys, pick up your phones, call up. I'm going to mute myself for 15 minutes. But then I realized it's very tough. But good job for all of you. Nice. You've done a good job, Dave. And I can see that you have
been. Everyone contributed. We had been attending office, but we made sure we joined on the call. We did it.
Correct. And make that a habit, for the next 18 months. Yeah, sure. Shiv Shankar. Yes. And anybody else who wants to talk? Group 9, Group 8. Group 8, the 9 marketeers, where a member 8 and 9 are missing. Okay.
We couldn't get a hold of everyone on the team.
Get hold of everyone, right? Gopika, the company that I admire is my company called Deloitte. Is that what I'm reading?
No, I want to work at Deloitte, but I currently work at a B2B research firm called Markets and Markets. Yeah, so I basically want to join Deloitte someday because it's very comprehensive in terms of the advisory and consulting vertical that it operates. It's there for both B2B and the B2C industry. So that's largely why I want to work there.
Excellent. I'm down to probably last 4 teams, but I'm actually pretty geared up to have nice interactive conversation with you guys. I believe that I hope to deliver, and I believe that we will have good conversation. Very nice to know you. Anybody else? Gautam, who likes biking and indoor sports?
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gautam this side.
So only one question I have to ask you. What is that the motorbike or the cycle?
Yeah, it's the motorbike. So I have to.
Which one do you have?
I have the NS 200 Pulsar.
10 lakhs or something?
No, not that much, sir. It's almost 1.5 to 2 lakhs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Gautam, I must tell you that I have a RX 100 Yamaha.
Okay. So
yeah.
Every guy needs the bike. RX 100.
That's all-time favorite, sir, for all.
Yeah, and now, of course, that over the last couple of years, that maximum, I mean, not just the pandemic, except that my wife is worried about me. So the maximum radius I do is, yes.
You have plans to sell it, sir?
Are you in any of the biking club?
No. Except that I like to keep my bike polished and nice. So now only distance I travel is about 1 or 2 kilometers and back. Good. Anybody else among here? Sanjana, you can't sell anything if you can't tell anything. So now speak. Sanjana?
Hi, sir. Can you listen me?
Yes, sure.
That is a marketing quote which tells communication is a lot more important. If you can't communicate, you can't do anything.
Right. Excellent. Good. You know what? I now that you were talking and there was this background noise. I attended a seminar in the very early days. I attended a seminar in the very early days on the GSM services, and I was asking them how communication happens. And I was given a kind of a definition which I truly love, because he said that if in a group everybody is talking, nobody can hear. Point number one. But in a group, if everybody is talking, but talking in different languages, then even though there is noise, you can actually filter out the noise and start talking and listen to each other. So despite the fact that somebody was talking in the background, it's very much possible that I could listen to you. Very good. Okay, good. Next, who is there on team? There's one team that I'm really going to pounce on. And this, hi, group 1, how are you?
Hi, sir.
Hi, sir. Let me hang on for a minute, and I want to show group 1. This is group 1, 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 group 1. So what did you guys do? Was there a mutiny in the team in the very first instance? Go ahead. Who wants to speak? Arun.
Yes, sir, definitely. Like we had, we were lacking time actually. So we still
you
had.
Said, each one of you come up with one slide.
Yeah, so definitely it was about my business, my quote which I admired the most.
But where is that?
The next slide, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I asked you all to make it in one slide, but you said you didn't think of it, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, good. Yeah, there was. So this was your quote, and then this was Apple. Okay, good. Anyway, so I see that, but that was, I insisted on a single slide. But good job. Where do you work, Aaron?
Yeah, sir. I'm currently working in a public sector called United India Insurance Company Limited. I finished my graduation in 2019.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what about you, Pooja? Where do you work, Pooja? Yes. Wait, 3:15. I think we'll take a, yeah, Pooja, are you there? Okay, right, no problem. Let's move on to the last of the thing. Let's be done and we'll take a 15 minutes break. You must excuse me, this is your first one, so I need to make sure everybody gets a bit of an attention and on conversation. Team Zeal. The reason why I took up the skill, Priyanka.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yes.
I think I wanted to project it very crisp, right? I want to develop the advanced management skills, like I'm pursuing a career in consulting, right?
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
Management would give me a
we are good. Open up, contribute in the team, contribute in the class, unmute yourself very often. I like noise when a question is asked, but right after that, we can go back. Who else wants to talk in this team for a minute?
Vinodini here.
Yeah, hi, Vinodini.
Yes,
I
sir.
like the fact that all of you put up your pictures here. That's a nice, see, that's innovation. That's very nice. So now I know how you look like.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to be part of this session. So I'm a people manager. I work for HP. So this kind of program is so very relating to me. I'm so glad that I'm part of this
happening to this group. There's something happening to this group here. There's Akamai and there's HP. Hi, welcome, colleague.
Oh, wow.
I worked with HP.
Oh, great, sir.
I worked with HP when HP was honestly HP and not the printers division, not the keys, not the key site, not the software. It's the real HP. Yeah.
Oh, even I'm from HP, so
yeah.
Wow. What's yeah. Anybody else from a company called Aniara Communications? Well, we are a 5-member team, so it's too much to expect if somebody is from my company sitting here, right?
So which part of the business were you in HP, sir?
HP, I was in instrumentation, and we used to do we used to work on microwave and RF. Yeah, so I used to be on the instrumentation on microwave and RF products.
Great, sir. Thanks. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, our customers used to be.
Now,
What do I do? Okay, we was one more. Okay, good. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. Sure. Now, so we'll take up 14 dishwashers. I don't even have the team members mentioned here. What do I do with this? Suravi, who's your team? Anybody else from Ishi? The only.
Yeah. Group 14, sure.
Yes, sorry.
Hi, sir.
This is Surbi. Actually, a little confusion with the initial, going to the document. So that's why could not mention. That's why I mentioned group 14. So sorry.
Yeah, but where are the team members?
Yeah.
Hi, Professor.
No problem. I'll get you guys introduced. Gritty Globin, I know, is the last one. They just sent something I liked about the team here. There's something I read about it. Okay, good. Who wants to speak? Jitendra. Quite long, man. Today, I'm so sorry that you guys have to, without a break. Jitendra, Rahul. Who sent me the email was Vaishnavi. Yes, Vaishnavi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Hi,
What do you do?
So I'm actually working as a sport analyst at Nielsen Sports.
Okay.
So I finished my graduation from Mount Carmel College in 2018.
Okay.
So that's it about me.
Good. Right. So thank you. I wanted to make this nice, informal, so that everybody comes to know each other and I get to know all of you. And now the time is 3:15. Let's take a 15-minute break and then go back to my class. Okay. I want you to take a minute out to tell me what is this? To record videos. Okay. If you want me to go slow, if anything, this is the best time for you to click as we take a break. So see you in exactly 15 minutes.
Okay. Bye.
Subject going. Okay. You have 90 days of continuous learning when you're with me. The tough job, 18 hours of class sessions. There are going to be 2 assignments. You will have to stick to submitting your assignments in time. You will have sleepless nights. You will have deadlines. Yeah, you're going to have tough life and there's no quitting, right? Point number one. Point number two, let's not bother about Steve Jobs. Okay, let's get slightly into the content. Let's understand what this marketing is all about. Let's see what it is. I believe that nothing new is invented in this world. They say that, they used to say that there are only 7 types of stories. Story of romance, jealousy, hatred, murder, 7 versions. It's just a question of what is the variant of each one, and a new storyline or a movie comes. Similarly, the point about marketing is the product is still the same. It's just the way the connect is happening, or they say in the connect is the tadka. Okay. If you look at food, people would walk in, drive in, have food. Then, how many of you have seen the movie called The Founder in Netflix or somewhere? Founder. It's about
Yes, sir.
McDonald's. Yeah, right. So, what do you learn from that movie? Is that you may have invented the way in which to deliver burgers in time, but you need to be smart enough, and the guy really learns it the hard way, right? Guy really learns it the hard way. And finally, he calls him the founder of this one. So what happens is, it's still the food. It's just that they say that there's a saying that, how do you complete? Let's say who does this? I give Millie the first choice to complete it. God can't be everywhere, so he created.
Also, he created mothers.
Mothers. He created mothers.
Or fathers, right? Yeah. So similarly, McDonald's cannot be everywhere, so they created franchising. So look at what is happening to the food story. The food story is still the same. So then somebody came up with a company called Zomato, who said, hey, listen, before you go to the store, let me review the store for you. And by the way, Millie, you can confidently go to the store because Vinay had gone to the store, enjoyed the meal. So now you're more or less confident that the food is good. So there you go. Food, nothing is happening to the food. The food is still the same. It's the same oily dosa, but that's the content we're changing. Then somebody said, hey, why do you really have to travel that far, Shankar? We'll deliver the food for you. So somebody said, we'll order the restaurant and do that. Then somebody like Devan came said, hey, Mr. Restaurant, why do you even have to exist in this world? You don't even have to have a physical presence. I'll create a cloud kitchen for you. So how many of you actually know from where the food is coming from? You virtually have no idea. You just say, I want Adyar Anand Bhavan or A to B dosa. You really don't care from where it comes. And so many of those restaurants, especially the restaurant chain from Calcutta, it's called the Fanuc, right? The rolls. What is it called?
Fanush.
Right. Yeah, they were, if you look at their history, they were a regular sit and dine restaurant who moved out of it, and now they don't even physically exist anywhere in the world. They are just cloud kitchens. So what's happening? It's the food which is the same. It's just that the way the customer connect is changing. You know the other story about travel. You look at the story of cabs. Earlier, you had to flag a cab. After that, if you guys belong to my era of living, when the old airport was there, and you had a flight to catch at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., you went and you booked the cab by calling up the cab office. And even pre-mobile days, even more miserable, trust me. And there was a taxi service called SRP taxi. I'll never forget that soul. Yeah, the SRP taxi. And from 4 o'clock, in the morning, if you had a flight at 6 or a flight at 7, the only thing that you would do, not pray to God that my meeting go well, but pray to God that the taxi guy will come and pick you up. And that was misery. Then the world changed. To hell with these taxi guy, cab or tourist services. cab on demand, just Ola, Uber. Then how do you differentiate Ola and Uber? It's the same service. Oh, sir, we'll even give you a movie or whatever. Prime will have internet on the thing. I'm still not happy with it, but I only love Ola all the time. I never go to Uber. It's because I use Ola Prime. The moment I walk in, the cab says, "Welcome, Mr. Ramesh." Wow, that's the feeling. So what are you doing? The closer you connect to the customer, the greater is the connect. So first point of my introducing you to the product is that the product is important, no doubt, but it's about how do you present the product to it. The same story about it. It's the story of Blockbuster versus Netflix. I think we'll skip this. We are a bit short of time. We look at another one. We said the product is same, but the connect is different. Now we will say that the product is same, but the promotion is different. I work out of a WeWork office, by the way. And what's the difference between WeWork and Starbucks? Honestly, nothing. And that's what even why the WeWork IPO failed. What does Starbucks say? Pay for coffee, sit whole day long on your desk and do your work. WeWork says, pay for your desk and the coffee is free. As simple as that. For years and years, Airtel, Vodafone, Idea, all of them would say, Mr. Ramesh, you have exhausted your 50 MB or 100 MB of internet data. Otherwise, you will be blocked of internet or upgrade your package. Jio comes in and says, you pay for data, the voice is free. Airtel says, pay for voice, data is free. What is happening? It's just that you are promoting a different feel-good factor. It's just how you change the rules of the game. Who started it all? Tata Docomo. Before you were with Tata Docomo, or before Tata Docomo came into existence, if I had to just call Harshit Dave and tell him, hey Harshit, are you going to mute yourself or not? It would take me 10 seconds to do that, and I would be billed for 1 minute. Tata Docomo came and said, why do they have to bill you if we bill you by the second? If you use it for 10 seconds, we'll bill you for 10 seconds. That was great promotion strategy. The product is the same. It's the same network. It's the same service. It's just that how do you promote it differently? The other one, the same product, but what is selling is not the product. What is selling is the other service. For example, how many of you have kids at home and you see this ad? For years and years, you've been buying Bonvita, and now Boost is going to give you a badminton racket. So what are you going to buy?
Obviously, Bonvita.
Obviously, but it doesn't really, you mean obviously Boost, right?
Yeah, we'll get a racket and something new to play with.
But who cares what is Boost? Who cares how tasty is Boost? As a matter of fact, I remember there was a product where they were giving 2 nice glass jars. So my wife said, I'm going to buy that product. We never used that product. I can't remember.
Pulpit jars.
Yeah.
Pulpit jars for coffee powder.
Jars. The product, I don't even know whether we use that toothpaste or we use that soap powder. We threw it. We bought the product and took this jars. That's the thing. If you look at Kinder Joy, how many people actually eat that? This is what is called
just buy
promotion.
For the sake of toy.
Yes,
they just buy for the sake of toy.
Yes. The other one is the airline introduced a service saying that if you buy a ticket, we will fly your wife free. Wow. Lots of people flew, but their wives never knew that they were flying. They took somebody else. Yeah. So this is what it is all about. Promotion is a driver. Samsung, super promotion. Samsung says that your first screen replacement is free. It's a great feeling factor. So this is what I'm trying to say about the services. Then this is something that I'm so thrilled to talk to you and present to you. It's the same product. It's the same shampoo. But this guy, Mr. Chick, his name is Kevin Kevlar, something like that. Doesn't really matter. C.K. Ranganathan.
Kevin Kelvin.
Yeah,
Kevin
C.K.
Kelvin.
Ranganathan. See, Kevin Kelvin. The bottle costs 74 rupees. I mean, some number, some arbitrary number. A Head and Shoulders cost 74 rupees. Who can buy it? You and I can buy it, possibly, but the poor people cannot afford it. So what did he say? Why not give the poor people the choice? And then he said, how much do they need for a shower or a bath? They need a small quantity of it. So he just converted the bottle to a sachet, one-time use, and made it 1 rupee. He created a totally different user. He made that so great an impact that Head and Shoulders also now comes up in a 1 rupee packet. So you see the story that I'm telling you, you see the story that I'm trying to tell you is that marketing is all about how do you connect. Marketing is about what is the story that you're telling. Marketing is about what is it that's driving the customer to buy the product. What is it? Who is your customer? All of a sudden, till yesterday, if you had to be a Head and Shoulder, if you had to shampoo your head, you must have had a minimum salary of 10,000 rupees and whatever it is. And then only you could have possibly afforded a 74 rupees bottle of Head and Shoulder, because 74 rupees possibly is 2% of your monthly salary or some crap like that. But all of a sudden, even the poorest of the poor can get an access to it. You create a totally new segment. Is the product any different? It's the same product. It's just that how you're looking at it. Now let's go further. The product is fine. The pricing is brilliant. 1 rupee pricing was the brilliant thing. The pricing is brilliant. But why did the Tata Nano fail? The Tata Nano failed because Tata said, I'll address the issue of the world or India's transport issue. Why did it fail? Because he said it is the poor man's car. You want to, just because I am poor, do you want me to buy a Nano? I have self-respect. How dare you call me poor? I'll not buy your car. I'll rather buy a second-hand Alto or a second-hand Hyundai. The story that you were saying was not there. Look at this ad. The guy who has got a Nano is telling, my other car is a Jaguar. So what is he saying? Hey, listen, guys, I'm actually not poor. I'm buying the Tata Nano because I really care for pollution. I care for the environment. I don't want to occupy too much of road space. And hence I'm buying it. But nobody believes you because the story is, I feel sorry that you have to buy a scooter. I will give you a cheap car. The story that should have come out is that the BMW guy should have felt the pain. The BMW guy should have said, sorry that I'm buying a guzzling car. Sorry that I'm buying a car which is polluting. But honestly, I have another car which is a Nano. The way you project it, the way you categorize your customer, that is what made the difference. Okay? Yeah, this we can go along. Credibility is not there. Who wanted to buy a General Motors car? Nobody wants to buy a General Motors car because there's no credibility. We don't know what's happening. They had to shut down. But an Alto, a Maruti, everybody trusts the brand. That is all it is, reliability. Then lastly, then product is good. pricing is good, credibility is great. Credibility is great, but are you listening? Why did Nokia ever fail? Virtually every guy who had a phone anywhere between 1999 to 2003-4, it was always a Nokia.
They didn't adopt for a new market.
They didn't adopt for it. They're not that they didn't adopt, they were not listening. They said, are you trying to teach me a lesson? I'm a leader. People love my product. My pricing is good. My market share is good. I don't need you to teach me. Everybody said we need a dual SIM. We need a dual SIM. I have to make my personal life different from my business life. The Nokia said, we don't believe in dual SIM. Just one example. Nokia said, Symbian is the best. But then the world was looking different. Now, who cares? Loyalty of customer is just like that. Is the weather in Bangalore or in London? It can just change overnight. So if you don't listen to the market won't care for you. The market will dump you. So you can name a few who didn't make it. That was an exercise that I had. But then these are some of the products which failed. Okay. I just thought I'll put that. Kellogg's failed because Kellogg's refused to understand the Indian mentality. How do we have our milk? Our mothers or our wives will not allow our kids to have cold milk. Milk has to be boiling hot, has to be hot milk. But imagine pouring hot milk on Kellogg's. It'll become one hell of a mess. Because in the rest of the world, Kellogg's is had with cold milk. So Kellogg's had to either educate the customer or get educated and try redesigning the product. So this is something that I wanted to tell you. Guys, Who Moved My Cheese is another story on why you should take your life seriously. You can read this, but I'll go into a first subject. The first time I'm going to use the word marketing, is that marketing is a closed loop activity. Marketing is what you listen. Marketing is about listening to what the customer is telling you. And marketing, as in life, is a feedback. If you don't pay attention to what your bosses are thinking about you, if you don't pay attention to what the market is thinking about you, if you don't pay attention to what the world is thinking about the skill sets that you have, you will fail. You need to have a constant closed loop. Okay? Little more into the product. Yes, please.
Professor, I have a question. It's more of a question, it's a topic. So as you said, you gave an example of how technology improvised or how things became easier. And in terms of marketing and in terms of this competition, I think Amazon being the leader, now Amazon has everything in its bucket. You name it and we have it kind. And I guess everybody would be shopping with Amazon. So it is one kind of a marketing leader. So again, in these terms, as you said, of Swiggy, as you said, the Uber cabs, Ola cabs. So does Amazon also have this fight with the, like, for example, as you took Nokia and other competitors couldn't do. So does Amazon, Flipkart should also have to compete because of, but it doesn't produce anything. It's just a middleman. But still, it has its own value, and it is actually leading.
That's the beauty of the service. Everybody is the middleman. What is Swiggy doing? What's Uber doing? What's Airbnb doing? They're doing nothing. They were hotels before. They continue to be hotels tomorrow. There were people who will go to that. They are just interfacing the two. What is Ola doing? There are users of taxi, they were taxi drivers. They're just bringing in a platform. They're bringing in a platform. The question is, how smart are you and how constantly are you thinking?
over
Is the
your
question?
room booking.
Yes,
Over
so
your
it's
room
all about, absolutely, how nicely do you product it? How nicely yeah, Shankar, you want to say something? Yeah.
Yes, yes, Professor. In my point of view, it's they are cut downing the time. They are seeing what is the best make utilization of the time. Where the earlier time they never used to waste time for waiting. So that is the
Yeah,
main
so this is,
as a
so if
solution.
your question is very true, if your question is, will Amazon be there 10 years later? I doubt whether Amazon will be there 10 years later, unless and until they're constantly innovating themselves. Otherwise, Amazon will be replaced by somebody else. Yes, go
I
ahead.
can take that
Raise your
question
hand.
because I'm
Yeah.
from Amazon.
Yeah.
Right, Amazon now moving into more innovative than not just a platform. If you see Amazon devices and data services, there you have Fire Stick
Alexa.
and so many Amazon One
Alexa.
products. Yes,
Yeah. Yes.
I'm part of Alexa team itself. So we are innovating what customer needs. It's not that just giving out a platform where customer has an option, right? So organization which thinks on behalf of customer and on behalf of customer who will invent for them, they will sustain in the market.
Absolutely.
I would again say, as Professor told, that as things are getting changed and everything is becoming so easier, Alexa is the best tool for marketing in current standards, because even switching on and switching off light and even operating system has become so easy with Alexa with a voice command. So ideally, human has nothing to do. You have to just give a command. So I think that's the best marketing strategy which they have come up with.
Yeah, that's why all these devices have the layer of because in real life they can never command a woman. So it's only in the digital world that they can say Alexa.
Probably.
So don't you think you agree, Millie and everybody? Yeah. Okay.
Amazon is diversified.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. We have another 20-30 minutes. So let's move on. I have a lot to cover. So very simple. If you have a finance and if you have no product, what is the point? If you have finance, if you have no product, I don't know, whatever. If you have a finance, if you have no product, you can't do business. If you have a finance, you have a product, then you have no customer, then you don't have any sales, then you have no business to do. I don't know where the slide is, probably all messed up. Yeah, so finally, you may have the finance, you may have the product, you may have the sales, but if you don't have marketing, meaning that does the customer like your product? What is wrong with your product? Does the customer, did you take a feedback from the customer? You may sell a product today, but to be consistent in the market, you must ensure that your product is still worthwhile and understood by the company. So marketing is the one and only thing. So marketing is everywhere. God is everywhere. And so marketing is God. Okay. Right. So now let's move on. We'll just skip these slides. Early reference to marketing. I'm not going to go there too much. There's a lot to cover today. Okay, let's stop here for a moment. We'll take a real deep breath and change gears. Move in. We were moving on the general roads. Till now, we were on a highway. We'll now move on a separate path, which is the path called marketing. So now we get on. Now we're getting on into the subject. This is the very fundamental graph that we all know. What does the graph say? If you look at it, if the price of a product falls, consumption rises. Obviously, right? It's a fundamental statement. Don't use your marketing brain. Don't use your intelligence. Simple statement is that as the product price falls, the consumption rises. So this is the graph that we grew up with. No doubt, if the price of rice falls, more and more people will take. And why do I have to go to rice? If the price of the vaccine falls, more and more people will be able to take the vaccine. If you give the vaccine free, even the poorest will be able to take it up. Very well understood statement. But let's look at exceptions to the rule. The first chart is the blue one. The blue one says consumption falls, or a consumption price falls, this one. Price falls, consumption rises. Yeah, we just understood that. There's another one. Price falls, consumption falls. What the hell is happening to this graph?
These
Can
are
you give me an example? Pardon?
These are luxury goods.
It's
Like-
about brand.
Quality,
because
sir?
Yeah. Okay. Example.
Like, for instance, there is this association with luxury. Like if a particular product costs more, for the sake of luxury, people do buy it. So
Yeah, that's the other category, right? Price rises, consumption rises.
all right.
Yeah.
So can I add one
somebody like you, hey, listen, the iPhone 14 is 1,40,000. You'll just dump your old iPhone and buy that because you believe. I mean, I'm just taking you as an example. So you believe that, hey, listen, don't raise your hand. Just make it noisy. Just wait for me to take a breath and then start talking. Go ahead. Talk. Both of you raised your hand.
Sir, one reason that I have seen in day-to-day life that when price drops, right? When there's a drop in price, people tend to not buy it thinking that, okay, suddenly the price has come down. They must have, compromised with the quality. Or, people have this mentality that the more expensive a product is, the better it is.
Very true. Very true. Whether it's true or not, that's the thought process, right? Whether it's true or not. An example of price falls, consumption falls. Anybody? Millie, give me an example.
Yeah, I can give an example. I'm not sure if it is right. So can we take an example of Maggie? Because few years ago there was this rumor about this.
Even we can take like onions. Onions, the
When
price.
the price of onion falls, consumption falls, and the price of onion falls, we'll be chewing onion for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So an example maybe because of political reasons.
Yeah. I'm waiting for an example that you guys will give me, but
for example, in our neighboring country, the price of onions fell, but still the consumption also fell because of political reasons. They didn't want to, take things from us.
Sir, I have an example of dry fruits. So probably when it is given in combo or when it is given with lots of offer in DMart, whether the quality is not nice, we tend to buy it and stock it, though it is a perishable. And when it is given good quality for more amount, we don't buy it because we find it very expensive. Dry fruits are the most expensive thing with consumption basis.
Correct.
I have one thought.
Sir, how about Airtel?
Okay. Now, yeah, go ahead. Well, let's see. Whatever order. Yeah.
When Jio came, Airtel price falls and the consumption falls. Both happened after Jio came into existence.
Okay. So one more example. The other one, Natraj, I think, was trying to speak, or Nagraj. Who was that was trying to speak? Yeah. Okay, good. So,
it's an attract.
Yeah, go ahead, Nagraj.
Yeah, to attract the common people, limited time offers, those were being used.
Okay, there was one offer which all the car companies were giving huge discounts, but people are not buying the cars. Why? Just about a year and a half back.
Engine BS4 adoption.
Yeah,
of
the
engine.
BS4 changes. Which
there was a pollution control BS4
norms.
Absolutely. Just because you want to get rid of your stupid stock, you want to put that on my head, I'll not buy your product. So that is what it is. Okay, good. Of course, a good example, smart team that I'm working with. It's going to be a challenge for me now. Okay, and next is price rises, consumption rises. We just said that. Like if I want to, let's pick up a name. Let's say if I have to go and meet up with Ashok invites me to his house for dinner. Now, nobody invites anybody. Don't worry, Ashok, I will not come. But then if I want to take a bottle of wine to Ashok's house, because I've been invited, and there's a wine for 500 rupees and a wine for 600 rupees, I will buy the 600 rupees, though I know very little about the wine, because of the fact that I believe that the more expensive it is, the more better it is. It's a thought process. I want to bring this concept to a place called the Vidyarthi Bhavan. How many of you have been there?
Everybody,
there.
I think I have.
And you said,
Been there.
okay, raise your hand.
Most of us have gone.
Raise your hand if you haven't been there. Yeah, so I hope there's one or two hands raised. Okay, Vidyarthi Bhavan is a nice place to have some excellent dosas. Okay, that's the place to go. And incidentally, this guy who owns the Vidyarthi Bhavan is probably the third generation owner. Young guy, probably meaning maybe mid-30s or something like that. And I know him. He's a fine engineer who used to work somewhere. And he has done something very unique. Okay. What he has done since he took over is that he's bought in some property on the back of his, if guys who know the place well, he's actually bought some property in the back of the hotel. So I was telling him, his name is Arun Nadiga. So I was telling him, hey, Arun, in typical Kannada lingo, I used to tell him that, why don't you just open up? Open up, man. There's so much of queue here. Why don't you add another 50 tables and then expand so that everybody's happy? So he's telling me, hey, Ramesh, what kind of a marketing guy are you, man? You're trying to kill my business. So I said, what the hell do you mean? He said, if the queue is not there, if people get to sit in my restaurant the moment they walk in, they start believing that there's something wrong. They feel that either this guy's quality has fallen or there's been some issue. They anticipate a queue. They anticipate a wait period. So many a time, I'm not saying he's doing that. His restaurant is extremely popular. So many a time there is an artificial scarcity created so that people start wanting it. How many times have you tried booking an air ticket or a movie ticket and it says few seats only? I have fallen prey for it once or twice. And then few seats only, and I keep worrying about it, only to go to the theater, and I understand their English is bad. They meant few seats only booked. Okay, so sometimes they create an artificial demand. Yeah, lots of hands raised. Time for you guys to tell me.
Sorry to interrupt, Professor.
Yeah,
this was an
Manjunath, I
instance.
really like your example of Naptol strategy. Oh my God. Yeah, who is that? Please.
Yeah, it is Harshit here. So
Yeah.
I would like to share one of my instances in the same way. After the pandemic lockdown unlocked in the last year, when the theaters were open, I fell for the same. Very few seats left. I booked the ticket and I was only there in the theater. No one else was.
If this is, I can't blame them, their English was bad. Only few seats occupied is what they meant. So good. So now again, understand what is happening here. I started off with a simple rule process. I gave you guys a flavor of what could go this one. And now I will give you the definition of marketing. Not this. The price to consumption curve is linear, but it's marketing which makes the curve non-linear. I hope you guys have to completely understand, buy into, accept this point of discussion before we move into the next slide, because if you don't follow me at this stage, you'll not follow me all along. Okay, so anybody has anything? IRCTC, you can't blame them here. IRCTC are nice guys. They truly will have very few seats left. I don't think they are taking us for a cloud. What did you mean by AWS clouding? And then product created through innovations makes life easy. You should also get the mind of the customer. Yes, sustenance and quality is important. Customer needs. Same goes with BlackBerry. I'm reading your messages. Yes, there were some hands raised. Who raised your hands? Yeah. So are you all agreeing with this graph? Anybody want me to explain one more time?
Can you please explain one more time?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you please tell one more time?
Okay. Okay. So one more time is what is that? Look at this graph. This graph is clear, right? Hey, do you want me to explain this? No.
No.
No, sir.
No, understood. You also understand this graph
Yes,
saying
sir.
that some way even you're not fooled by price fall. You don't run away when the price rises. But there is another thing. One thing that you may think, price rises or falls, we don't really care. For example, you and I are complaining that it's become 100 rupees per liter, but that you live saying that that's the fact of my life. Well, I cannot do anything about it. It doesn't mean that you will travel less. You may travel grumbling, but that is the point we're not bringing in here. We are not bringing in a chart which says price fall or rise has no impact on consumption. We are not bringing that. I'm not bringing that purposefully here. I'll bring it under another category when we discuss later. So this you have to understand, which means that why is the price rise not affecting negatively affecting sales? Because somebody is marketing it nicely. Somebody is telling a story. Somebody is telling a story. If you buy this expensive, let's say, okay, assuming that if you buy this Axe spray, if you buy this Axe spray for 49 rupees, you will be surrounded by all pretty people around you. But if you buy this Axe spray for 99 rupees, you'll be surrounded by hundreds of such people. Both the stories are wrong. Both the stories are wrong. What they're doing is they're marketing the story nicer. They're marketing the story nicer. So the sale of a commodity varies because somebody is marketing it nicer. It is how you project it on your thing. Why was the sale of the Boost better? Because they said you get a badminton racket free. Why was the sale of the Samsung product? Obviously, the screen to 1,500 rupees screen price is included, but they make you feel comfortable that you will give you another screen replacement. So marketing makes the consumption price to consumption curve non-linear. I hope this makes it clearer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Guys who raised your hands. Guys who raised your hands. Anything? AW, yeah. Okay. I'm just reading your messages like, yeah. Anybody raise the hand? Want to say something?
Sir, this stands universal, even if it is for B2B also.
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. Sir, buy my services. Mr. Accenture, buy my office maintenance services. We are costlier, but I promise you that I'll have 2 of my janitors in your office 24 hours. That's marketing it.
Got it.
Hi, sir. Sanjeev here.
Mr. Accenture, buy my janitor services because all my janitors are deaf. They cannot hear your conversation in your office and they'll not spread it. Some crap excuse, some story. So it's all about how do you market your product, right? So which sounds interesting? Pay for one, buy another free, or you get 2 at the price of 1. So it's all about playing around with the words. Yeah. So I'm sure you all understand.
Brand factory, sir. Example, brand factory. If you buy 2, you will be given discount and you can buy 3 of it.
Correct.
Coupons, they provide coupons.
Correct.
Sir, so it's all. Sorry, so I want to bring one in. So like during this pandemic, especially like products, if it is meant like if it's included with immunity booster, that term actually the price is high or low, the product still goes on buying. But
Absolutely, absolutely.
immunity
There you
booster,
go.
just that term, yeah, the vitamin C. I don't know. I have seen in many things, which is like totally. I don't even think like including in chocolates. Like I have seen in some Kinder Joy also, vitamin C.
Correct, correct. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So it's all, what are you doing? You're just playing with the emotions of the people. You're playing with the emotions of the people, right? Okay. So no, hang on. We still have something to cover up. So you understood marketing. Marketing is human nature. You and I are marketing it. I marketed myself during the orientation. I told you that I come from an industry. I've been doing all that. Why am I saying? It's because I'm marketing myself. I'm telling you who I am. Trust me. Trust me. Believe me for 18 hours. I hopefully will give you a better life. And everybody is marketing. One slide that I purposefully did not is, look at this. This is marketing. This is marketing without feedback. What are these guys telling you? Each one of them is saying, you will get heaven. Is there a guarantee? Did any one of them not get it? They're just telling you heaven, afterlife. This life, no guarantee. What are these guys telling? Every election, they're giving you all crap. But we fall for it. All the time we fall for it. Okay, raised hands. Answer. Yes. Raised hands. Please ask or
Hi, Sir Sanjeev here. I just had a quick question. In this dimension, we're talking about consumption. We're talking about the price. We're talking about how marketing influences both of them. There are other aspects, like such as quality or the effectiveness of the product or usability. Many other things.
Absolutely. Needless to say that.
And that's not in context here, but those are other dimensions of how.
Those are other dimensions of the product, because today we are saying what affects it. What affects it. You could have the finest of the products, but a bad marketing can damage you, right?
Right. Okay.
We have the first, I'll tell you an example. There's so many unknown brands which don't ever fail, but they're just lying out there without any notice. Yeah. So you don't market yourself, you'll never be there.
Dabur Red, sir. Dabur Red, it was
Yes.
marketing. So.
There were hundreds of MP3s. There were hundreds of MP3s players before the iPod came. There was no difference between, honestly, there's no difference between the iPod and the thing. It's just that he marketed it. He knew what the customer wanted. He knew what was there. Okay, we have to get along. Types of marketing. I will hit 4:30 and then we'll stop. Okay, types of marketing. Cities are marketing. You know all of this. Persons are marketing. Event is being marketed. There's political marketing, social marketing, products and services are marketing. There are all kinds of CEOs, they are marketing all the time. The moment I say Steve Jobs, I love this. The moment you say Steve Jobs, you know I'm talking about Apple. And then when I say Richard Branson, these are mavericks. To a certain extent, Vijay Mallya was also trying to do that. He was carrying the brand. As he was going along. Then beyond brands are so important. Which brand would you miss if it disappeared? I mean, forget what is on the thing. You will spend 1,000 or 3,000 rupees to buy a shirt which says US Polo Association, big, bold, all over you. You are a walking brand ambassador for US Polo. But will you buy a shirt which says Ramraj in equally big, bold letters? No. Yeah, you are laughing. Yeah, because you see, it's the brand. Imagine how much of effort would Ramraj have to do to convince somebody to say that, hey, wear a shirt which is there. Remember, this Harrods is a place in the UK, which is one of the finest malls. on my first trip there, I'm kind of by nature a little bit of a stingy character. So somebody took me along, and then we went around it. And he said, "Hey, Ramesh, are you done? Buy something." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because when you buy something, they give you a Harrods bag. And the moment you take a Harrods bag, they know that you've shopped at Harrods." And this is exactly my argument that I have with every one of those malls. I walk into West Side, I walk into Shoppers Stop. I am very nice, I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm very nice, well-behaved boy with my wife. Till these guys asked me a question. They said, "Sir, do you want a shopping bag? Or do you want a carry bag?" I said, "Yes, I want a carry bag." So they say, "Yes, sir, 10 rupees. I said, "Okay, I'll pay for it, but it should not have your brand. I want a plain bag." No, they'll give me a Shopper Stop bag. They'll give me a West Side. I said, "Why should I pay 10 rupees to advertise your brand? Why would people have to know that I bought in West Side? Why would people have to know? Let West Side announce that Ramesh bought," but that's not important to them. So the point is, brands become so important. Brands are so very important. Yes, some people raise your hands.
Just like Gucci, sir. Just like Gucci. Every Gucci item has its Gucci symbol.
Correct. Anybody else?
I would also say that
example.
Yeah, okay, we'll do one thing. Yeah, okay, one more. Was that Vinay or somebody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, it was me, sir. So I would also say that this marketing would work more specifically, because even it is as you said, for the US Polo Association and Ramraj, the brand has become part of the prestige issue now. So people have to show it off.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask the people to mute yourself, and I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to tell you a story, and you have to just tell me what is it. This is a scene in an airport. The airport is all crowded. Everybody is very busy. There is this young gentleman who is 25 to 30 years old, or maybe 33. He is a bit late to the flight. They already made an announcement, and they said last boarding. This guy is running. Just before he enters and shows his ticket, he wants to demonstrate to the world that he is a very busy guy. He sits down, zips open the bag, pulls out a laptop, and starts typing something on it. My question is, what is the brand of the laptop?
Apple.
Absolutely. Nobody would do this to do just for 2 minutes or 1 minute. Nobody would open a thing if it was what is it? Any other Dell or something else. This guy wants to show to the world that I have an Apple, even if it is for 1 minute, just to open it, show to the people, and close it out, because that's the value of the brand. This gentleman is actually selling Apple as he's walking along. So that was what brands do. Brands least advertise. Successful brands don't. We will talk about brands for 1 full day or 1 full 3 hours. So don't worry about that. Still have so many slides to go, but we'll do it 10 minutes, right? Okay, why you like marketing? With these 2 slides, I'll complete. Why we dislike marketing? Because dislike marketing tells you that makes you spend more than you can afford. They buy. They always do that. They do brand differentiation where they do not exist. That means to say that there's no difference between this bottle of water and another bottle of water, but they tell you that, what is that brand?
Kenley.
Distillery.
No. Wait.
Distillery.
Aquafina.
Wait, hang on. They used to make pan para also. Manik Chand Distillery water says more oxygen per liter.
Correct.
How can you ever have more oxygen per liter? It'll kill you. But it's just a creation of brand differentiation. They don't brands. They don't care for the earth. There's no safety. Imagine the amount of packing that goes into it. Brand material. It promotes lifestyle. You've seen that, no? The Amazon delivery boy killed a fellow because he wanted the phone and then he ran away. All kinds of things make people. I don't want to show you the phone that I have because I have a lower brand phone. So you know what? That is what it is. If I don't have a BMW car to people of my whatever company and status, oh man, there's something wrong with you. So it promotes a materialistic life care. Illegal, who cares what we don't provide? You know that all the gutka and pan and all that is bad, but they do all kinds of advertising because they care a damn. Social discriminators is all there. If you don't have this, are you not watching Netflix? Oh my God, what is happening to you? Where are you? Are you still in the world of television? Discriminators. This is what is dislike marketing. But trust me, it's not all that bad. Marketing gives you a better lifestyle. Marketing tells you what is available. It promotes business. It tells you such a product is available. It creates jobs, needless to say. It brings in awareness. I never knew that I wanted some product. I was to wonder, how do I get it? Marketing makes it available. Social marketing tells you all the time that there should be social distancing. It's a marketing activity, right? And then vaccine lagao, polio lagao. So there's all marketing activity. Reviving marketing will bring in some old thoughts. You have with the Indian Idol coming this evening. They are bringing up some old thoughts about marketing and all that. So we've come a long way from there. Your course is for about 18 hours. We'll be talking all kinds of these terms in your course. This is the gentleman that you will read about. And this is the subjects that we will cover. I'm done for today. I like to open, I still do have a few slides. We'll do it in the next class. I'm open for any conversation. Nike, good example. Yeah. Nike, well, imagine what marketing can do. Imagine what Ronaldo did for Coke. In 10 seconds, he killed it, right? That's marketing. Oh, you call it positive marketing or negative, that's beside the point. Okay.
Sir, on the LMS portal, right, we are unable to access the class PPT. It's asking us the access. So if you can...
Yeah, the same here.
Yeah, same here. It's asking for permissions.
I am quite sure that I opened it up because I was instructed to open it up. But if it's not, I'm sure when was the last time you tried?
A few moments back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying since an hour.
Yeah, I just tried when you started the class.
Oh, okay. Then I'll check after the class. I did open it up, but by later this evening, I'll make sure it's open. Is that fine?
Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else? You guys following me? Am I making sense to you all?
Very interesting.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Anything else you want to say something so that I can be a little more better? That's fine. Okay. Good. Yeah, somebody raised hands. Just ask. Okay, good. So bye for now. See you.
I had one last question. Sorry. Would you be able to share e-copy of the textbook which you mentioned?
Who's this?
Priyanka here.
Priyanka, trust me, you spend 10 minutes on the Google, on the web, you'll find it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not supposed to share an e-copy, right?
Sir, which is the latest edition?
Correct.
I wasn't aware of that, sir.
No. Obviously, right? A e-copy, and how could it's you have to that's piracy, right? So I'm saying don't get too deep into all of that. I'm just saying you will find a copy somewhere. You just download it.
Edition.
And doesn't matter which edition is there. Any edition you read it.
No, I didn't get the name of the book, sir.
You didn't get the name of the book.
It's there in the chat.
Okay.
This is the name of the book.
All right.
This is the name of the book. Where? Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Principles of Marketing Management. Philip Kotler. Just type Philip Kotler and read the book. Yeah. Abu, you have a question.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to get the name of the books so that I can go through it. So yeah,
Now
I've
you have
got
it,
that.
right?
Thanks
Now you
for that.
have it.
Yes, now I have that. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor.
Okay. So all done. Any more questions? I want to make sure that all are happy. Yeah. Okay, good. Enjoy
Yes, Prof. Thank you.
whatever is left of your Saturday, and see you soon. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
So
Thanks, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
Good. I'll ensure that you guys. I thought there was access, but I'll ensure you have it by later today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session, sir.
Wonderful session.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.